Hey, book club. This round we're going to do chapter 6 of The Power of Awareness by Neville Goddard. If this is your first video in the series that you're watching, it's okay. It's one of those books that you can come in at any time. There is, however, a playlist for you if you would like to reach this point from the beginning, all right? Otherwise, my name is Amy. It's so nice to meet you, and welcome back if you're following along and all that good stuff. This chapter is called Attention. Shall we? A double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. James 1:8. Attention is forceful in proportion to the narrowness of its focus. That is, when it is obsessed with a single idea or sensation. It is steadied and powerfully focused only by such an adjustment of the mind as permits you to see one thing only, for you steady the attention and increase its power by confining it. The desire which releases itself is always a desire upon which attention is exclusively concentrated. For an idea is endowed with power only in proportion to the degree of attention fixed on it. Concentrated observation is the attentive attitude directed from some specific end. The attentive attitude involves selection, for when you pay attention, it signifies that you have decided to focus your attention on one object or state rather than another. Therefore, when you know what you want, you must deliberately focus your attention on the feeling of your wish fulfilled until that feeling fills the mind and crowds all other ideas out of the consciousness. That focus, fam. That focus. The power of attention is the measure of your inner force. Concentrated observation of one thing shuts out other things and causes them to disappear. The great secret of success is to focus the attention on the feeling of the wish fulfilled without permitting any distraction. All progress depends upon an increase of attention. The ideas which impel you to action are those which dominate the consciousness, those which possess the attention, right? We're just coming right on back to, that's why I say you can join in at any time, because he's just trying different ways of getting this point across, because it's so important, that concept of self, you know, to believe in yourself and to know, like, I want this thing. And, you know, like, if you're happy, kitty, if you're happy and you're feeling fulfilled, who are you really hurting, right? If hurt hurts, then who are you hurting? When you're happy and you're truly just reveling in that, rather than frustration or boredom, if we're going to go to the other end of the spectrum, right? When you're happy and fulfilled, this is going to emanate. It's going to be great. And that's one of the ways that they say that you can magnetize in, right? Like, celebrate the things that you love. Celebrate what you enjoy, because that vibe... I'm actually filming this in the middle of the night, so cats are going to do what they're going to do. Pardon any noise that you may hear. She's wilding. Where was I? What? Right? That's why they say, like, celebrate the things that you really enjoy and that you really want, because that's such a vibe check, and it really just sets the tone, right? And that consistency, that focus is only going to continue to fuel. It's only going to continue to enable you, right? Because we are retraining our subconscious, we're retraining our minds, and we're building new neural pathways rather than remaining bogged down by those old toxic ones that really just didn't work for us. All the crap that other people taught us that, you know, when you only know the facts as you know them, right? So we got another Bible quote. This thing I do, forgetting those things that are behind, I press toward the mark. Philippians 3:13 and 14. This means you. This one thing you can do, forgetting those things that are behind. You can press toward the mark of filling your mind with the feeling of the wish fulfilled. To the unenlightened man, this will seem to be all fantasy. Yet all progress comes from those who do not take the accepted view, nor accept the world as it is. I oftentimes see people in the comments that are like, in like different videos on YouTube on this type of subject, or what few tarot readers I watch, because it's just, I like my positive vibe checks, and people, especially at a time like this when so much is happening in the world, where they're like, can we please be more positive? Come on, everyone, let's work together and just visualize a happy world, everything working out effortlessly and just positive vibes all around. And it's like, why are you telling other people what to believe rather than fulfilling it yourself, right? You still have a bit of a limiting belief going on there, right? As was stated heretofore, if you can imagine what you please, and if the forms of your thought are as vivid as the forms of nature, you are, by virtue of the power of your imagination, master of your fate. Your imagination is you yourself, and the world as your imagination sees it as the real world. I was just watching a video with Bashar. It's just feeling very timely to come to that part. When you set out to master the movements of attention, which must be done if you would successfully alter the course of observed events, it is then you realize how little control you exercise over your imagination and how much it is dominated by sensory impressions and by drifting on the tides of idle moods. To aid, that was my slipper on my thingy, my chair, I swear. To aid in mastering the control of your attention, practice this exercise. Night after night, just before you drift off to sleep, strive to hold your attention on the activities of the day in reverse order. Cookie Mouth, please. You wildin'? Where? She's already gone. Okay, moving on. So, focus your attention on the last thing you did, that is, getting into bed. And then move it backwards in time over the events until you reach the first event of the day, getting out of bed. Miss Cat. I really need my viewers to have at least somewhat of a sense of humor, because this isn't just an audiobook, you know what I mean? This channel is more about just hanging out, just being ourselves, showing up whether you got makeup on or not, whether you got coffee or tea or water or whatever, you know what I mean? And just vibing together. So if you don't know that, well, now you do. So, hey, anyway, this is no easy exercise, but just as specific exercises greatly help in developing specific muscles, this will greatly help in developing the muscle of your attention. Cookie Mouth, please. Anyway, your attention must be developed, controlled, and concentrated in order to change your concept of yourself successfully, and thereby change your future. Imagination is able to do anything, but only according to the internal direction of your attention. If you persist night after night, sooner or later you will awaken in yourself a center of power and become conscious of your greater self, the real you. Attention is developed by repeated exercise or habit. Through habit, an action becomes easier, and so, in course of time, gives rise to a facility or faculty which can then be put to higher uses. When you attain control of the internal direction of your attention, you will no longer stand in shallow water, but will launch out into the deep of life. You will walk in the assumption of the wish fulfilled as on a foundation more solid even than earth. And that's the end of chapter 6. Thank you so much for joining me. I had a thought and it just ran away as fast as, oh, she's back. Hi. She's so cute. Anyway, and yeah, it just flew away. So just be very cognizant of what you're focused on. Be very cognizant not only of your words and your actions, but what you're thinking. Because as he's previously mentioned in earlier chapters, what you think of and what you focus on is what you're giving us like consent to, not assent, consent. And yeah, be sure that you're in agreement with that and you're not warring with yourself for no good reason, okay? May we all have incredible skills of discernment. Thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate it. If you haven't yet, you know the drill here on YouTube. If you like, please go ahead, you know, and if you haven't yet, maybe consider subscribing. I do have 2 videos a week. One is just pure babble, maybe with a topic, maybe not, usually, yeah. And the book club, which, you know, I plan on other books for sure. And if you have any recommendations, let me know. It doesn't necessarily have to be about the law of assumption or attraction or anything like that. It's cool. I read all kinds of stuff. I like all kinds of things. I'm one of those people where it's easier to give you a list of what I don't like because it's much shorter. I just like to explore. I like to learn. And I plan on living till at least 100 because there's just so much and I want to learn as much as I can. Why? Why not? Either way, whichever you do, I hope that you have a wonderful rest of your day, and thank you for choosing to be present. I appreciate you.